All right, what's up, everybody? We're here with Trevor Ford, also known as Tom Ford, TM Ford, Chad on Book Talk, but he is the author of Still I Stand, Until I Fall, and working on his third book as part of the Semi-Deuce Chronicles. Outside of being an indie author, you're a father of one, husband, you work for Nexus here in Tennessee, and then you're a native to Tennessee, and unfortunately a fan of the Tennessee Titans. But welcome to Outlaw Conversations, and thank you for doing this.
No problem. Glad to be here.
Awesome. So let's dive into your backstory and all. Where did you grow up? What did you do outside of writing and content on TikTok before?
Well, starting off, I grew up in Tennessee. Of course, I'm born and raised here. Moved to California when I was in like third grade for a couple years. Absolutely hated it. I moved back to Tennessee, and now I sound like this, all snotty all the time, because my allergies never got back into control. Like growing up, I was into dirt bikes and riding outside, and I was a dumb kid in class, trying to be the class clown. My teachers all hated me, so whenever they heard I was writing a book, they're like, there's no way, it's going to be god-awful. And honestly, I thought it was going to be too, but it turned out pretty good. And I guess the last part of that, just outside of writing, it's always been video games or football or something to pass the time, and writing just kind of fills that gap in when it's not football season or when it's not, a good video game out, so.
Okay, awesome. So I know you mentioned like the outdoor stuff, and then obviously we talked a little bit about you work for Nexus, and also do you just you hunt, fish, or ride razors?
I don't hunt. Oh, I do fish a little bit. I haven't been hunting since I was probably 13 or 14. I got really mad. It's a funny story. Sitting up on this ravine, it's me and my dad. First time I've ever gone, he was super excited for me to go. I was super excited. And a doe walks right in front of us. I haven't seen anything all morning. Doe walks right in front of me. He's like, just take the shot. Okay, I got you. Line it up, pull the trigger, deer doesn't move. I'm like, what? He said, there ain't no way. Like, that thing should have ran, right? I'm like, okay, line it up. He's like, shoot it again. Shot it again. Deer didn't move. Like, what is going on? So after the third shot, we finally decided we're walking down there. Well, I hit it the first time, but not the other two times. And when it got hit, it just died and fell over on the tree, didn't move. And it kind of scarred me because I was like, I don't like that. It's kind of creepy. So I never went again. And I haven't been able to go since I've been an adult. But fishing, yeah, I do try to fish quite often. We had a razor for a while. Still have one in the family who like to ride. My little man likes to ride on the Ranger, like a more safe version, I guess. But get to put her on the property on it, get him out. So any chance we get anyways.
Cool. Yeah, that's awesome. My dad used to always get mad at me hunting and everything because he's one of those old school ones like, hey, we gotta be in the stand by 4 a.m. and all that. I'm like, there's 2.5 hours before it gets daylight. So once I got on up to sit and stand by myself, he'd be on the other end of a property, and I would set an alarm on my phone to vibrate, and I'd go back to sleep in the stand. And 20 minutes before daylight, that's when I woke up.
There you go.
And so we'd get on the car ride home, and he'd be questioning like, did you hear that about 5 o'clock and all that? I was like, nah, I think I just heard squirrel. Just take it off. But,
no, I definitely heard that. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, it must have been a big one. And, but yeah, he'd get aggravated with me with that. And I was like, I can't see anything. There's no point in me being awake. I don't know. So what is Nexus? What is it that you do for a living?
Anything involving internet, just about. So it started as an underground burial company. So we'd bury the main line or the line to people's houses for their internet service or their cable service. Over the years, it's grown to pretty much everything involving internet. So we hang it in the air, we bury it under the ground, all the way to going inside and installing it in your house, or doing IT for larger companies, building the server racks, all that. We make the joke that we all wear a lot of different hats at work because we've got everybody at work that does their own individual job, and then you've got us in the office that's like, oh, hey, we need to go do this job, so we all got to figure out how to do it and get out there and get it done. So anything with internet, pretty much we will put our hands on.
Okay, cool. So we mentioned you're an indie author. Everyone on Book Talk knows you as Tom and all that, but you've written Still I Stand and Until I Fall, which is the second book, and it comes out October 11th. What can you tell us about the books?
Yeah, sure. So it's about a guy named Derek who discovers magic in different realms and dimensions. Gets to go on an adventure that's kind of like Percy Jackson meets Chronicles of Narnia. I know anybody that's watching this that's seen my lives has heard that spiel like a million times, and you're probably sick of it, but it's ingrained in my brain and it's easy to say. So.
All right, awesome. And then what's the spiel on Until I Fall? What can the non-spoiler sales pitch there? What can we know about it?
I should have prepared for that question a little more. That one's rough. So I don't have like the elevator pitch nailed down for it yet, but I do like to point out that when I wrote it, I wanted to challenge myself a little bit more. You know, book one was to prove I could do it. So book two was to prove I can do more than just the same thing again. So I pushed myself a little farther in like tropes and kind of subplots or other genres that I wouldn't be as comfortable writing. So it's the same premise still on an adventure like Percy Jackson meets Chronicles of Narnia, but there's some new flavor thrown in there too without being too spoiler-y. It's a hard word to say.
Okay. All right, cool. As we kind of talk about you writing books and everything, what led you to want to write a book? You know, as a Tennessee man diving into the fantasy world.
Right. So originally, I'd had this dream about this world, not the story per se that the book is about, but just about this like world that's kind of small, but there's all this magical elements going on in it. I was like, oh, that was a cool dream, and I remember writing something about it down. And then I was watching One Tree Hill with my wife, and one of the main characters in that, Lucas Scott, he writes a book, and I'm like, dude, if this like dude can do it, right? I know it's a TV show, but if they're portraying this kind of guy, he can write a book, and it'd be awesome. I can write a book. So I sat down and tried and gave up in about a day. It's like, yeah, not doing that. And then about 6 months later, I did the same thing. I was like, no, I'm going to try again, and gave up in about a week. And then I found out my wife was pregnant about 8 months after that. I was like, okay, I'm going to write this book because I want to show my son, like, hey, at the time I didn't know if it was a boy or girl, but I wanted to show my kid, hey, your dad can follow through. Like he said he was going to do something, he's going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I finished it for them and then published it for me, kind of thing. So
Awesome. Yeah, I think that really speaks because I have like the same motivation on some of the events and stuff that I've done, like training for the marathon, doing the Spartan race, like trying to do challenging stuff is just like prove like, hey, look, man, like you can do whatever you set your mind to.
Exactly.
It just takes a little hard work. So that's nice to be able to prove to the little man that hey, you can write a book.
Yeah.
You know? Cool. So what was the biggest challenge with sitting down and writing a book? I know I struggled to write like a 10-page paper for class, and let alone, you know, hundreds of pages for a...
So really time, you know, before little man was born, it was not too bad because like I could sit on the couch and, you know, just put headphones on and listen to music while Kendall watched TV and I could type away, or I could go sit in another room and she could watch TV and I just type away. After he was born though, it became, okay, I need to come home, I need to do the dad stuff. And then after I'm dog tired from work and doing dad stuff, then I can sit down and try to write. And we were taking like shift work when he was first born, so it was like she'd stay up and then I'd stay up, and it was all back and forth. So I got paused for a little while, but really the hardest part was just time. And then once I had the time, was calming my mind down enough to be like, okay, forget about everything else just for an hour and try to get words down on the page. That was a struggle. And that white cane you got sitting over there, those did not help at all. They made me even more frazzled brain, because I'm like, I need the energy, and then my mind was like, that's too much energy for what you're trying to do. Yeah. So yeah, it was fun. It's a monster. If anybody's, it's not a bad drink. It's just a monster. He's not sponsored though.
Yeah, I gotta keep it off camera. Yeah. No deal. Cool. So like the book came out last October and everything. How long did it take writing and editing the book?
Book one?
Yeah.
So from like start to finish, like 4.5 years, because you know, starting and stopping and starting and stopping. Once I finally sat down and said, hey, I'm going to do this, about 1.5 to 2 years, somewhere in that time frame.
Okay. And so obviously lessons learned, you were able to speed up that process pretty quickly then for book two.
Oh yeah, about 6 to 8 months total for book two. Would have been a little bit faster, but I took like I paused after book one because I didn't know how I was going to do. You know, I wanted to get it out there, but if it wasn't going to do anything at all, I wasn't going to, you know, spend a lot of time on the second one. But it started picking up traction, so I was like, okay. So I started writing again, and then hit this horrible slump where I don't believe in like writer's block. It's more just, hey, you just don't feel like writing today.
Yeah.
And I hit that for a few months. Had to play some video games with you guys and try to get out of that funk for a little while. And then finally, I mean, it hit back. I was ready to go. So 6 to 8 months. I probably could have done it in like 5 to 6, somewhere in that range, if I would have just stuck with it. But
okay, awesome. All right. So as far as like being an indie author, what can you tell us like the experience of being an indie author?
It's fun, but it sucks. Like writing the book is actually fun. You know, getting your words and the story you want out there is fun. Sending it to beta readers is fun because you finally get somebody else's eyes on it, they get to tell you what you think. Same thing with like if you do ARC readers or anything else. The hard part is when it's all said and done, and now you got to try to get people to not just buy your book, but read your book.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's one thing for somebody to buy it, right? My mom bought the book. She's never gonna read my book.
Yeah.
My dad bought my book. He's never gonna read my book. But then you find somebody that'll actually read it, and they leave a review, and you're like, oh, okay, they liked this book. Then it's a whole different ballgame. But that marketing part and getting it out there for people to see it is just way more challenging than I thought it would be, especially from having like past social media experience. I thought I had the hang of this. I don't. Like, it's all over the place. One day it's great, the next day it's god awful. So,
Gotcha. So as far as like marketing challenges and everything, what are the lessons you learned for an up and coming indie author, anyone that's writing a book?
Hire somebody. Just be consistent. It doesn't matter if a view, like if you're posting on like TikTok, for example, because that's what I'm mainly on.
Mm-hmm.
If you post and you only get 100 views on a Monday, that doesn't mean give up and not post on Tuesday. You know, just keep pushing through, keep going, and try to be like happy and cheerful. And I make the joke all the time, like I'm everybody's cheerleader. Like if you've got something, let me know. I'm going to cheer you on. 100%. Find your community and thrive in it. Because there's going to be guys like me, there's going to be guys like you, guys like our whole group on Book Talk. You know, they're going to support you. Even if, like, for instance, you don't finish a book or you don't want to read the whole book, that's fine. You're still hyping me up in the chat. You know, we've got all these people that play different roles in, like, our community.
Yeah.
So find it and thrive in it.
Awesome. Yeah. I am a slow physical reader, so I'm still hoping that Tom releases the narrated version of the book, because I'm on, like, chapter 11, working my way through Still I Stand. Loving it so far, but everyone's throwing out references, getting ready for book 2, and I'm like, I don't see the fascination with Barry yet, because he hasn't really done much.
Right. He just wants me to read it to him. Don't let him lie to you.
That's the real thing. I don't know. So as far as like making decisions on like merch and the challenges with choosing publisher, editing, and I'll go through your thought process and like your experience with all that.
As far as like publishing itself, like being an indie author, so I'm gonna have to self-publish this. You've got a few options. You know, the Amazon. Oh crap, what's the other one called? I can see the logo, but I can't think of it. Somebody in your comment section will pop it out, but and then like Barnes and Noble, or just like solely do it myself. You know, print the books myself and don't go through any other site. Amazon was the most, I guess, lucrative is the best word for it, but I don't like that word because I'm not about making like a whole lot of money of this. I just want the books to pay for themselves. Mm-hmm. But the other ones all either charged too much to print the book, or they took too much of a cut out of the book, or by the time that they got it on their distribution site and then distributed to like retailers, there was only like a few pennies left for Tom or Trevor or whatever you want to call me. So I went with Amazon because of that. I've looked at some of the other ones just to see if now's the time to make the switch to them, or not make the switch, but add them to it. Just haven't had any luck with that yet. But the thought process. Where were we going with that?
Talking about like making the decisions on publishing,
Yeah.
editing, and choosing merch and stuff to.
So with the editing side of it, there's a million editors out there, and I went with Fiverr for the first book. I looked at like Readsy and some of the higher name websites for editors for self-publishers, and they were outrageously expensive. Like we're talking $4,000, $5,000 for my debut novel. I'm like, there's no way. Like I want this thing to be able to earn out, right? I don't want it to put me in a hole. So I looked on Fiverr and I found somebody that was pretty awesome. She did a great job on the first book. I feel like, you know, it definitely transformed the book into what it was. You know, my words are if I said my words are good, she made them great, but I'm not going to say that my book's great. I'm just, you know, she definitely put that amount of shine on it. Mm-hmm. So unfortunately there was a little bit of mishaps with her in the end, and I don't know what happened. So she's kind of off into the wayside, but book 2 found somebody else on TikTok this time, but she does her own like editing, what's the word? Company. Like she has her own company she runs, and I'm hoping to move forward with her a little bit more. But it's really all just a flip of a coin, you know, or draw the cards. You don't know what you're going to get until you say, hey, let's try it out. Let's see how it goes. Even with on the publishing side, I didn't know how it was going to go until I did it, because nobody wants to. I don't want to say nobody, because there probably would have been people that would have talked to me if I would have reached out more. But even like my family members that have wrote and published books, they gave me like a cheat sheet but it was still very, like, she was like, oh, you just got to make your own decision. It's all very open, and it's like, okay, but what do you say I should do? And you're like, no, I can't tell you that. You got to do whatever you want. I'm like, okay, well, so it's very open-ended. It's a wide open world. There's no good way to go about, or no two right ways to go about it. You've got a million options. So it's kind of complicated when you look at it like that. But you find a cheerleader, and everybody else is watching this, and you're good to go.
Awesome. Yeah. And then I know we've got the book box, a couple of them for book 1. We're waiting on the book 2 ones and everything. One thing you've been praised about, and a lot of indie authors praised about, is the merch and the things that you put into the book box to help spread that story there and show off the book and all. Can you talk about how do you go about making decisions, building your book boxes? A lot of the stuff is handmade and all that.
Yeah, so merch itself is a funny word to me, because like I don't like calling it merch sometimes, even though that's what it says it is on my store. You know, it says the merch store or whatever. I just feel weird because it's like, oh, you want to wear like my shirt? You want to wear this shirt? Like, no, it's just funny feeling. But really, the way I designed most of the things for book 1 was just, you know, hey, I think this is cool, so hopefully somebody else will think it's cool. And I try to make as much of it as I can myself. That way, whenever I send it off, it's not just you're getting a book I wrote, but you're getting, hey, this bookmark that I either made or had printed, or this wax stamp seal that, like, you know, my hands were the ones that did it. And that's always been a big thing for me, because it's an extra level of cool, you know, check that little check box. Yeah. Book 2, I had to ask for some help. It's like, okay, I thought a lot. My brain was tired from book 1 on the merch stuff, because I don't know a whole lot about it. So I recruited like a marketing team, is what we call them, on TikTok from our little community. And it's been really great how they've been able to kind of say, hey, this is what we like to see in book boxes. What can you come up with that would align with that? And we had a call, we bounced things off of each other, and that's kind of what's created the book box for book 2, is what we as a team kind of came up with collaboratively.
Yeah, I think that's the cool thing too. I love about being friends with an indie author and everything that's going through the process is, like, one, getting to see a little behind the scenes of what it's like. You know, I know Haley is trying to write a book, so it gives her great advice and insight of like the future, and then also being able to connect with someone and help like talk through the book box and all is really interesting. I'm like, hey man, this is what I liked out of it.
Right,
and everything.
yeah.
And same thing with the marketing team. They're like, hey, this is what we get from some other indie ones book boxes. So it's really cool you're taking that approach of you got the community, we use them and everything, and get their insight. You know, that way they will be your cheerleaders going forward.
Exactly, 100%.
All right, so to finish up kind of a little bit on the indie author side, what advice or insight can you give to other aspiring authors that are possibly writing their first books?
Same thing everybody told me in the beginning, just put pen to paper. It's going to be garbage at first, it's going to be bad. But don't give up, keep going until it's something you feel comfortable sharing with other people. But at the end of the day, just don't give up. You can take a day off, take a week off, take a year off. God knows I did. Just take off the time you need and then come back to it and don't give up. Because if you give up, it's never going to get out there, and your story deserves to be told. So just push through.
Awesome. All right. So obviously, as an author and you're on Book Talk, you're into reading and all. I would hope. You wrote a book. You should read them and all that. What's your current read, and what books have you been drawn to recently?
So currently, I'm on Tower of Dawn and the Throne of Glass series. I didn't think I was going to like Throne of Glass at all. The first book was kind of slow, and then from then on out, it kept picking up and kind of snowball affected me. So, but really, like, Red Rising has been my Roman Empire. I just read it this year, and I blew through the whole series. Just got a tattoo yesterday from the series, and it's really that one series for me. You know what I mean? But yeah, so mainly the fantasy realm is what I try to stay reading in. I know sci-fi a little bit, you know, touch there. Got to get the romantasy too, get the spicy stuff, have some fun. But really, the fantasy genre is what draws me the most.
Okay, cool. Is it the world building or like the action, like what trope, or not tropes, but themes inside of
just magical elements mainly.
Okay.
I know I just said Red Rising is like my Roman Empire. There's not really any magic in that. it was just a really damn good story.
Yeah.
But
It's like Roman Empire.
Exactly, yeah. I really like any kind of magic or fantastical element. So like if you tell me like even like Harry Potter, you know, hey, I can pick my drink up without using my hands. That's cool to me. So
Yeah.
I like to see the magic in any kind of aspect, but mainly like you said, action-packed stuff. So a good fight scene with a little bit of magic thrown in, or you know, or hey, the big bad guy walked on the field and snapped his fingers and half the army fell down. Like that's the kind of stuff I like. So.
I gotcha. Yeah, I'm similar in that I like the fantasy. Like I'm cool with the world building, but I like the something to keep you on the edge of your seat and
Yes.
everything. If it's a romance book, like let's get some spice in there, or it's like I'm intrigued here, or the fantasy and other. Like I love Red Rising. I'm done with book 1, trying to get the audiobooks for the next one, but like there's enough action there where you think there's danger, like the main character's in danger or something's building. Where
Right.
It's like cool. I'm intrigued, and I'm not a slow burn kind of reader, whether it's for action or romance. So what would be your Mount Rushmore books? And if you have a series like Red Rising, we'll count that as one head. So give us your top 4
Okay.
series or books.
Well, we'll say, of course, Red Rising is going to be up there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to put this other one up there just because it's kind of what got me back into reading, so I feel like it deserves a spot. So Quicksilver.
Okay.
And I know that's here nor there, but it's it's a good book. And I'm going to be cliche and say The Hobbit. I think everybody should read The Hobbit at least once. It's a great book. Just read it. And the 4th one's going to stump me. This should be really, really hard. No, it's Percy Jackson. Come on now.
Okay. Awesome. Sweet. Yeah, I have not read the Percy Jackson books.
This interview's over.
Yeah. I haven't read those or The Hobbit. I've seen both of the movies, obviously.
Oh, man.
But that was great. And I love the stories. Obviously, Tolkien's legendary author. I think one funny thing I find about Tolkien's writing is you could tell like back then editors were worried about grammar and stuff because Tolkien is notorious for randomly introducing a name for something, like an artifact.
Yeah. That
it's been in the story the entire time, but now all of a sudden this sword has a name.
Yeah,
Like, wait, did I miss something? Did someone join this party? Like, what's going on?
And it's very over the top. And this might be like I don't want to call it like a dumbing down of culture or society, but it's over the years people have got more used to reading things that aren't so proper or so structured.
Mm-hmm.
So like even in my Mount Rushmore that I just listed, you can see, like you said, Tolkien is one way and then everybody else gets a little bit different the whole way through. But like Percy Jackson even, it reads totally different. I know that's a young adult book versus a fantasy book.
Yeah.
But you can definitely tell a different style of writing. Even in my own books, it's a different style of writing nowadays versus way back when it was supposed to be very proper and you just went with it.
Yeah. All right. So we've mentioned that you're known as Tom on Book Talk.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us about your social media. What can we expect to find? And also, what's the story of Chad?
Oh, dear Lord. So don't scroll back on my TikTok. Or I'm just I really just need to delete the videos because people keep saving them and now I'm like, crap, here we go. So on my social medias now, you're going to find, me talking about the books I like and then me talking about my own books. That's going to be the big thing, hyping up my friends, that kind of stuff in our little circle, but really mainly book-related content. If you want to talk about Chad, there was a time when TikTok was Musical.ly and I ran a spicy inhaler shop. Me and my buddy co-owned it. And I needed something to do to keep me busy throughout the day, so we started posting on Musical.ly. Then it became TikTok and my account blew up. I had a man bun and long hair then, and people liked the hair. So I would post videos and go live, and I was making $400 or $500 a week on TikTok just from flipping my hair on live. People are like, I'll send a galaxy if you flip your hair. I'm like, okay. So I'd do it, and then I'd make videos about it to drive people to the lives, and it was just TikTok was a different place back then, okay? This is pre-COVID, it was different during COVID, and this is before all that. So it was just a different animal. There was a point in time when me and a couple other friends, Travis, Rock, there was a group of us that were the big folks on TikTok because TikTok wasn't that big yet. I had 15,000 followers at the time, but Travis had 160,000, Rock had 50,000. Another guy named Anthony had like 200,000, and they were using clips of our videos in their commercials that they were posting on like Facebook and stuff. So it's like, it was really weird because at the time there was no, hey, let me pay you for using your clip.
Yeah.
And I'm scrolling Facebook and see a TikTok ad, and it's like, that was my face right there. Like, it was very strange. But so that's where the whole Chad joke comes from, because we did like thirst traps and, you know, the cringy stuff like that. So believe me, when I'm scrolling TikTok and it says, hey, your memories for today, I'm like, oh, dear Lord, I don't want to see that. But yeah, that's the Chad backstory.
All right. Well, what saved us from Chad still being around here?
In all honesty, I just kind of fell out of it. So like I said, it was a bunch of my friends. A bunch of people that I met on TikTok. We all got to be pretty good friends. We sold the vape shop, and I went to work for Nexus. Didn't have as much free time to post, but I was still trying to post every so often. But as the friend group started to kind of like not post and we didn't interact as much, it just wasn't as fun anymore. Like, I don't know. Didn't get as much satisfaction out of it, I guess. I know that sounds weird, but it just wasn't as engaging as it was before. And then when I, decided I was going to write the book, I started kind of teasing that a little bit, and people were reacting with it. I was like, okay, I'm getting a little bit of traction here, so I'll just shift my stuff over to that. And when I made that decision, I should have went back and got rid of all them videos, because I can't keep my mouth shut about it, because people always ask, like, oh, well, why do you have so many followers? I'm like, it's not because of the book. Or like, I'll join, I think when I first joined Jen's Live, she's like, oh, hey, yeah, wow, you got like 60,000 followers? I'm like, not really. I've got like 100 if you count what this is for, because nobody interacts with my page like that anymore. So yeah, that's pretty much why Chad's gone. He just kind of fell off. It's how fads go. They up and go down. So,
well, if you guys want to see Trevor's thirst traps and Chad videos, hurry up and just keep scrolling down to the bottom of it. There's tons on there.
They're going to be gone before this video goes up.
I'll make sure to get some kind of teaser out here soon so that he doesn't have time to.
That's horrible.
But yeah, there's everything from hair flips to wearing a dress, dancing around. Yeah. So go check it out. It's pretty great content.
It's bad.
Or Jen, go ahead and save as many of them as you can so that you can use it as leverage.
That's horrible.
All right. So what's next for you? You got any plans for future books? What's the game plan going forward?
So book 3, I'm actively working on it now. I'm only a few chapters in, but I'm really excited about how I'm going to end this. This is technically going to wrap this leg of the story. And I don't want to like give away too much because it will pertain to the first one, but I've got a few other projects that I'm kicking around that I want to start pretty much as soon as I get done writing book 3. Okay. So my brain is doing the thing where it's like, hey, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, and I'm trying to narrow it down to which 2 I want to focus on. But yeah, so at first, when I started this, I just wanted to do it to prove I could, but it's like I said, it's become a thing. We've built like a community, or like a good solid group of friends at the very least, a nice community at the most, that seem to enjoy what I write, and it gives me the gumption and the get up and go to want to keep doing it. So I don't foresee TM Ford, that era of Tom or Trevor or whatever you would say. I don't see that going away anytime soon. So, and yes, I made a Taylor Swift reference on your thing just to appease Jen and the likes and all the Swifties out there.
Yeah. It's not the life of a showgirl, it's the life of an indie author.
There you go.
All right, cool. So we know we're getting a trilogy and then possibly some novellas that are going to be spin-offs and all. Have you thought of any ideas is it a separate storyline or just more in this universe and everything? Or are those just...
Yes and no.
Just wild fantasies right now? Just like, this would be interesting, but...
Think like the SJM universe, that kind of thing. So I want my whole idea so the dream that I originally had about these books was that it would, or not about the books, but about this world is like, people coming in and out of it kind of thing. So I want it to be something that can always go back to that same structure over and over again, but not necessarily the same story, same time, same exact place. So there's going to be a way that you don't have to read the first 3 books if you want to read my 5th book or whatever it is, but it'd be cool because you might pick up some Easter eggs between the 2 kind of thing.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right. Well, hey, so where can everyone find you on social media? What are you active on, I guess, for people to look up?
So I'm on TikTok, Facebook. So those two are at t.m.ford. I'm on Instagram at t.m._Ford. Don't yell at me. I didn't want to do it either, but that's just all that was available. And if you can't remember that, just go to tmford.com. That's my website, and it's got like the links to my books, merchandise, newsletter, and all my social media links down at the bottom. So that's the easiest way to get to all of it.
Awesome. Hey, well, I appreciate you sitting down, learning more, obviously, about you, Trevor, diving into what it's like being an indie author. It was a great second iteration here of Outlaw Conversations. So I appreciate you joining us, and we're having fun here at Literary Inc. this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
We're all hanging out.
Glad to be number 2. I should have been number 1, but it's okay. I'll forgive you. No.
But all right. Hey, guys, we're going to put the link in the bio and everything for all of Trevor's links. You can go check out Still I Stand and Until I Fall. Like I said, the book box for Until I Fall comes out October 11th, but you can pre-order now. I appreciate it, and you guys have a good one.
I do need to do one thing, though. Ready? You got to look at the camera, and you're going to hit a dab with me.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, all right, there we go.
0, 1. Let's get started.